This is Arthur Gaeth in Nuremberg, Germany. On January 30th, 1939, Adolf Hitler predicted the annihilation of the Jews in Europe if war occurred. I have just returned from a trip to the camps of the surviving Jews now being operated by UNRWA under jurisdiction of the Army. And I am convinced, unless immediate action is taken to improve conditions in the camps at Landsberg, Feldafing, and Fahrenwald, the Hitler prophecy could well come true before the winter is over. Today, the American occupation zone has become the haven of thousands of persecuted Jews fleeing Poland and other areas of Eastern Europe. In Munich, which is actually the gathering center of continental European Jewry, on an average of 300 of these Jews are arriving daily. They come, many of them with their faces lighted with fear. Some of them had gone back to their homes after being freed from concentration camps, only to find they were not wanted. They bring back reports of violence from such towns as Lodz and Krakow. They tell of stones having been thrown through their windows, of threatening letters promising death if they do not leave in 24 hours. Bruised and decimated after 6 years of Hitler, they still have no peace. The terrorization of some of them has led to general alarm, and in the next 3 months, some 20,000 Jews may be added to the 35,000 now in this area. But this area is not prepared to take care of them. There are 3 major camps in Bavaria. The new army policy is the Jews must be provided for in their own camps. We visited the one at Landsberg, where Hitler spent 9 months in protective custody back in 1924 and wrote a large part of Mein Kampf. In the military barracks there, barracks which once housed 2,500 German soldiers, we found 6,300 Jews, mostly from Lodz in Poland, crowded together in accommodations which in many respects approximate those which they had in a German concentration camp. Hundreds of them were living in wooden barracks, 20 or more, in a 15 by 24-foot room, always 2 to a 3-foot wide bed, and sometimes 3. It was bitterly cold, and they were trying to heat rooms with iron stoves fired with green wood that was giving off as much smoke as heat. On some of the floors of the communal washrooms, there were sheets of ice. The only wash water they have is icy cold. Their food is 65% starch, and instead of the 2,500 calories prescribed, they are drawing about 1,900 calories. If an epidemic were to break out among those already weakened people, it would reach calamity proportions. 7 weeks ago, the UNRWA camp director, A.C. Glassgold of New York City, reported to top UNRWA officials and to the U.S. 20th Corps headquarters they could expect 10,000 additional Jews in the American zone by December 15th, but no one turned a hand. Today the influx is there, and it is growing. Even with that influx, however, the Americans will not have more than 60,000 Jews with whom to deal. Through proper arrangements, they could be provided for. Dr. Zellman Grinberg, director of the DP Hospital at St. Ottilian, told me this whole calamitous situation is undermining what strength the Jews have left. During the German reign of terror, the Jews had not dared to hope to survive. But if the miracle ever took place, certainly there would be understanding and help from the whole world. Instead, there is no understanding and little goodwill. As a result, Zionism is growing, and scores of Jews who would never have adopted the idea are becoming fanatical Zionists determined to see Palestine as a homeland no matter what the cost. Here in Nuremberg, we are trying 21 Nazis for crimes against humanity, and in our own dispossessed prison camps, we seem to be committing them ourselves. This is Arthur Gaeth in Nuremberg. I return you now to the Mutual Newsroom in New York.